Welcome to the deep dive. So, when you hear the name Area 51, your mind probably jumps immediately to, secret military aircraft.
Right, UFOs, that kind of thing.
Or maybe just a heavily guarded stretch of the Nevada desert. But today, we're going to completely change the frame of reference. We're putting away the engineering blueprints and pulling out, well, the ancient texts.
Exactly. Our mission today, based on the material we have, is to unpack a highly detailed study that approaches this infamous location through a truly unusual lens.
Okay, what kind of lens are we talking about?
Occult symbolism, ancient geometry, and numerology. The radical claim at the core of this entire deep dive is that the physical layout, the precise dimensions of Area 51, they were all intentionally designed
Intentionally designed to what?
to bear measurable Luciferian signatures.
Wow. And this isn't just like generalized guesswork, right? The source is specific.
Very specific, it attempts a kind of geomantic analysis, relying entirely on latitude and longitude coordinates measured from satellite imagery.
So things like Google Earth.
Exactly. It treats the base not as a complex of hangars and runways, but as this giant, structured ritual ground.
A ritual ground. Okay.
And to do that, it has to redefine a key term right up front: ground zero.
Which we'd normally associate with an explosion site.
Right. But in this source, ground zero is defined as the, quote, very beginning or most elementary level in a Kabbalistic initiation of ritual and magic.
Okay, so that distinction is crucial. It immediately anchors the whole conversation in these esoteric systems. So let's jump into the first part of the analysis. The numbers.
The numbers.
The source claims that measurements around key sites, the runways, the buildings, they show these repeating coefficients.
And that they're statistically unlikely to be accidental.
Yeah.
The specificity here is where we need to slow down a bit. The repeating numbers cited are 13, 72, 666, and of course, 51.
51 for Area 51.
Right. And the study says these coefficients relate directly to Enochian magic and sacred gematria.
Gematria, for anyone who isn't familiar, is that alphanumeric code, where letters have number values.
That's the one, particularly used in Kabbalah. So these aren't just random numbers. They carry a huge amount of weight within these systems.
So let's unpack a couple of those. What about 72? What's the significance there?
Well, in some esoteric traditions, 72 relates to the 72 names of God. But crucially, it's also tied to the precession of the equinox.
Okay.
That's the 25,920-year cycle. And 72 years represents exactly 1 degree of that massive celestial movement. So aligning structures to that number is an attempt to lock the base into the cosmic clock.
And 13.
13 is, almost universally associated with rebellion or transition, the number of steps in certain initiations.
Yeah.
And 666, well, that was pretty self-explanatory.
So the source is saying the length of a runway or the distance between buildings are basically numerical codes?
Intended to resonate with these systems, yes. And it's all tied directly to the Earth's energy grid.
The ley lines.
Precisely. The argument is that where these ley lines converge, you get these natural vortexes. And the structures built with these occult numbers, they act like an amplifier.
So you combine the structure with what the source calls Luciferian ritualistic magic, and you can harness that energy.
That's the claim. And it implies this isn't unique to Nevada. The source connects it to global motifs.
Like what?
It says that these key occultic sites around the world often share traits: pyramids, hexagrams, sacred grid lines, and structures built on the phi ratio.
The golden mean.
Right. The inference is that Area 51 is just a modern implementation of a very ancient global blueprint.
Okay, here's where the analysis takes a sharp, very visual turn. The second big claim is that if you pull up the satellite view of Groom Lake, you see a specific motif.
You do. The infamous skull and bones.
How is that formed?
The visual component cited is, first, the X shape. It's formed by 2 intersecting runways or utility roads, and that's supposed to be the crossbones.
And the skull?
The peculiar coloration and shape of the dry lake bed itself, especially where the dark and light sand meet, that forms the skull. The study suggests this is a clear visual signature.
Just signature of who exactly?
Of the Luciferians who allegedly run the operation. But the description of the skull is also very unique.
Right, it's not a normal human skull.
No. The source claims this aerial view shows the head of an alien-type humanoid. It has the slanted eyes, the larger eye sockets, all aligning with common depictions of the Greys.
Which leads right to the supposed function of the lake bed.
It does. This huge flat expanse. It's posited to function as a giant mirror or glass.
A mirror for what?
To see through or pierce the interdimensions from which these alien Greys operate. And the study is very clear. It asserts these grays are not natural aliens, but are geoengineered by fallen angels.
So it loops the whole modern UFO narrative right back into this ancient biblical
Find
premise.
that skull and bone symbol, the visual signature. That's the link back to the political world, to the fraternal orders and shadow governments who use that same icon. It's a sign hidden in plain sight on the desert floor.
So if we move from that big aerial view down to the details of the facility itself, the geometry continues.
It absolutely does. The source claims the main runways, for instance, are fashioned in an approximate phi ratio.
The golden mean again, so 1.618. What's the esoteric point of building a military runway based on that?
Well, using the phi ratio is supposed to create a perfect energetic relationship between the elements, optimizing the structure for whatever it's for, whether that's resonance or dimensional manipulation.
And there's more.
Oh, yeah. The source notes the core facility is inclined from true north by about 40 degrees, and if you overlay the geometry, it produces a visible pentagram right at the heart of the complex.
It's not just flat geometry either. There are actual pyramids.
Yes, they mention man-made three-dimensional tetrahedron pyramids and some larger flat pyramids just outlined in the desert. And one of them is described as having these poles or nodes.
What are they for?
The source suggests they're not just decorations. They could act as antenna for resonance or frequency calibration,
For what purpose?
for interdimensional transpositions, a sophisticated system for affecting space-time.
This is where the conspiracy takes a really dramatic turn. The study claims the Area 51 layout corresponds directly to the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Directly. It posits that the Area 51 complex is basically the Giza layout, but rotated by exactly 45 degrees. Giza was the blueprint.
And the parallels are specific.
Incredibly specific. The source claims shafts inside the Area 51 structure correspond geometrically to landmarks in Giza like the monolith and the Queen's Chamber. They link the Queen's Pit to those X-runways we talked about.
And these alignments aren't just on the ground, are they? They point upwards.
That's the key point. The entire complex is aligned to specific stars that hold major occult significance.
Such as?
Theban, which is in the constellation Draco the Cosmic Serpent, or Lucifer, Sirius, which is associated with the goddess Isis, and Orion, which is historically linked to Nimrod, who the source calls the first pyramid builder.
So the ground is a map of the sky.
A very specific, mythologically charged map.
So if we take all this as the source presents it, if the base is this massive, geometrically perfect machine aligned to Egyptian star charts, what is the ultimate goal?
The manipulation of the space-time continuum itself. This is where you see the claims merge with popular lore, with people like Bob Lazar talking about anti-gravity.
Right.
But the main point is opening gateways, or portals. In this framework, the hexagram isn't just a symbol, it's a precise geometric key that unlocks the door.
This totally reframes advanced technology. The source is saying this isn't new stuff.
Not at all. It suggests these are ancient technologies recovered from before the flood of Noah, Enochian forbidden knowledge, genetic engineering, and ultimately transhumanism.
That is a chilling thesis, that the technology is inherently occult.
And it's supported by a specific historical link the source provides, the direct involvement of the occultist Jack Parson.
Okay, who is Jack Parson and how does he fit in?
Jack Parson was a brilliant rocket scientist. I mean, he helped found the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, but he was also a devoted disciple of Aleister Crowley.
Thelema, do what thou wilt.
That's the one. The source claims Parson was involved with specific Babylonian magic rituals, the Babylon working, and that they were specifically designed to open the interdimensional fabric of space and time.
To communicate with these beings, the grave.
To physically open the door for them. Crowley allegedly channeled them, and Parson wanted to let them in. The source even notes Parsons' link to L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology. It's this blend of occult magic and hard science, right at the root of aerospace research.
So if we put all this together, the numbers, the geometry, the history, what's the broader agenda that the source claims is at play?
It's not about technological superiority, it's spiritual and genetic. The dehumanization of humanity through genetic manipulation.
This connects back to Genesis 6 with the fallen angels and the Nephilim.
Exactly. The source suggests Area 51 is continuing that lineage, corrupting the human blueprint. And the entities behind it all, it claims, are the same ones behind the iconography on the U.S. national seal.
The pyramid with the all-seeing eye?
Right, and you can apply the same analysis. The source says that pyramid has a 66-degree slope, 72 stones, that number again for the precession of the equinox, and 13 levels for rebellion.
It's another geometric and numerical clock. What about the date stamp?
MDCCL XTEVX. May 1st, 1776. The source claims this marks the founding of the Bavarian Illuminati and their New World Order, and it even claims the spacing in the slogans, Annuit Coeptis and Novus Ordo Seclorum, encrypts the word MASON,
So the seal is basically a public oath.
a permanent oath to this hidden agenda, the ultimate goal being to leverage chaos, demand a universal mark, and roll out a planned disclosure of these beings and their false spirituality.
The ancient knowledge of the fallen angels.
That's the summation. It's a planetary deception hidden in the Nevada desert under the guise of military secrecy.
It's a stunning, almost bizarre convergence. Area 51, the symbol of modern tech, presented here as a massive Kabbalist altar.
Where geometry, occult ritual, and ancient pyramid dimensions all intersect. The central claim remains that all this meticulous planning, it's not for structural stability.
It's to open portals.
It's open portals, commune with fallen angels, and manipulate space and time.
Which leaves us, and you, with one final thought to consider. The source asserts that the coming global alien disclosure will be the final step in this massive deception, presenting the fallen angels' agenda as a plan to upgrade humanity. So if the deepest military secret on Earth really involves ancient magic and numeric ritual, what does that imply about our actual definition of advanced technology itself?